In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Python to run the codes we have in the workshop. So on the Mac, so you won't be able to use the GPU because so on this Mac and as in on all MacBook computers, there's no NVIDIA GPU unfortunately, but you'll be able to still run the codes with these packages. So first we're gonna install Python, and we need actually Python 3.7. So let's go on Python website, and we want the 3.7.9 actually. So if we go there, here you have all the different versions, so 3.7.9, and then we can just choose the one that we want, which is macOS 64-bit. So we download the package. Now we can run it to install it. All right. And now it's installing. So I just need to put the code, and it's going on. Meanwhile, I'm going to also download the material that is on the GitHub page with code, so we can just check that it's actually running. So it's in deep learning based segmentation. So if you're familiar with Git, you can install it and then clone the code. Here we're just going to download the zip version of the whole folder. And I'm going to go back here, and it's almost down. So when it's down, I'm going to install the Python packages we need, and I'm going to show you how you can actually install a virtual environment, which is a very neat functionality of Python. You can actually define virtual environment for your different projects. So if you have a project that doesn't depend on the same version than another one, then you can have two virtual environments with the right version for each, and that's pretty powerful. Okay, so everything is done. So now I'm going to open a terminal. So if you don't know where to find a terminal on your Mac, you go to Applications, Utilities, and then you'll see you have a terminal here. So when you open a terminal, then it's in the Unix environment. So I can check where what are the folders where I am by ls, and I want to install everything in work. So I'm going to go into work. So I actually use cd as current directory. And here I'm going to install what I need to create a virtual environment. So I'm going to type Python 3. You can use the tab in your keyboard for auto-completion. So it's going to be -m pipe install --user virtual of like virtual environment. So I already did it, so it was already installed, but you see how to do it. And then I'm going to define my new virtual environment. So Python 3 again, -m venv like virtual environment, and then the name of the virtual environment I want to create. So I'm going to call it DL as deep learning like environment. And so it's creating this new environment. Then when it's done, you can look at the folders you have here. There's a new folder that is entitled dlenv, and I can activate it by typing source, then dlenv bin activate. Now it's activated. You can see here you have dlenv in front of your line between parentheses. So now I am in this environment. So let's see if the download is down. Not yet. So I'm just going to show you if you want to deactivate your environment, you just type deactivate. And now you see you're not in this virtual environment anymore. There's nothing in front of your line. So I'm just going to activate it again. Alright, it's almost down, so I'm just gonna speed up a little bit the video so you don't have to wait for everything to be down. Alright, it's down, so now I'm gonna go back to the Explorer and I'm gonna go to Downloads. I see it. I'm gonna open another tab and I'm gonna go to my work where I have my virtual environment. I'm just gonna move it here and unzip it. And in this folder, so there's everything in the code. There is a file that tells me which package I need to run all the codes. If I go to codes, there's the requirement file. So I can just copy and paste everything in my virtual environment. Except there's one thing to change, because this is the requirement when you have an NVIDIA GPU. On this computer I don't have, so I need to change TensorFlow GPU with TensorFlow. But it's still the same version, everything is the same, so now I can just enter everything and it's going to install all the packages I need for my codes. So I'm just going to speed up the video so you don't have to wait for the installation, the time it takes to install everything. Alright, now it's down, so I'm gonna go into the code folder. So it's gonna be deep learning here, then codes. Alright, and I'm gonna launch Jupyter Notebook from here. And it's gonna open it in a web browser. So probably Safari here, yes. And so then I have access to this. So I'm just gonna launch a unit classifier just to see if it works. Alright, so I'm just gonna start by loading the modules. So it might take some time because there's no GPU and it's the first time that it's loading everything. So I'm just gonna speed up a video here. Alright, it's down. Now I'm defining parameters and then training a unit. So again, I'm going to speed up video because it's going to take time, especially to process the first image as there's no GPU. But you'll see that it's actually running. So it's running. So it takes a lot of time because it's large images as well. It's 512. So it would take just probably 10 to 15 seconds with a GPU. But it's running, and that might be useful at least for processing images.